But there comes a time when all you're doing is moving the same furniture around, and one way is not any better than the other, and then you're just wasting time. So is this as good as it can be with my current skill set and with my current set of tools? Hey, what's up? It's the epilogue of episode 5 of Me and the Quest. I've put on my sweater, my comfy sweater, because it is cold out here in the shed, as I've mentioned in a previous episode. I have to turn the heat off when I record out here, and I live on the coast of Maine, and it's January. So I've also, been messing around on YouTube on the video side of things here with how to visually represent that, like, hey, it's the epilogue, it's more casual. And it looked dumb every time. So I'm just going to keep the camera where it is. But maybe that's my new thing, like sort of Mr. Rogers, like in the epilogue, I put on something more cozy. Maybe that's what I do. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because come July, I'm going to have the opposite problem out here. I'm going to be sweating and stuff, and I'm not going to take any more clothes off. That's not going to happen. But I'm also not going to put on a cardigan in July. So we'll figure it out. Welcome to the epilogue. Less scripted, if you couldn't tell. I want to talk today about, I talked about in the main episode that I actually recorded the main episode 3 times. I messed up at one point and I had to redo the sort of what I call the welcome segment. After the theme song, I had to redo that. I recorded for 7 minutes and then realized, didn't hit record on the audio side. So I want to talk about sort of some things I've been thinking about and learning in the last few years about how to know when something is ready to share with the world and when you should, kind of hold on to it and keep tweaking, keep learning, keep editing, whatever it is. Or in the case of these videos where I refilmed the episode, I just redid the whole thing 3 times. Redid 2 times, did a total of 3 times. I don't know. For me, the most clear example, and because the podcast thing is newer, the easiest thing I can point to is my music. And so I want to look at these 3 different projects I've done, these 3 different batches of songs. So my first release as a singer-songwriter was 2015, an EP called Songs from Vacation Land. And pretty much all of these, right? I mean, when I look at the release date, I have to work back. Those songs represent typically around 2 years before that, right? So Songs from Vacation Land, my first EP came out in August of 2015. My singer-songwriter album called A Map in Pieces, both of which were just my name, Ben Crosthwaite, Crosthwaite. Super easy to spell. Nothing like a silent TH to get you. 2018, October 2018, that album came out. And then in 2020, I released 4 separate singles, all kind of very different from each other. But those came out, 4 songs, all in the last 6 months of 2020. So I kind of look at that as a batch. I never released them as an EP because it just didn't make sense. Like I said, they're all pretty different from each other. But I can look at these 3 different batches of songs, and I think there's something to be learned there about when to know when to call a song done, or whatever it is you're working on done. The easiest parallel is to other creative works. Maybe you speak publicly for a living. Maybe you're a teacher or a professor and you craft talks. You an artist of any kind, where you got these clear projects that you work on. But I think this stuff applies to you have a new business idea, you have a new adventure you want to propose to your family, whatever, that you can kind of view. If you can view what it is you're longing to do as a project, I think there's some parallels here to probably whatever it is you want to do. So there's kind of become 2 qualifiers, 2 things I think about when I think about is this song done and ready to share. This is how I've been thinking about podcast episodes too. So the first thing is this as good as it can be? Don't end the sentence there though, because that's important. Is this as good as it could be? The answer is always no. But is this as good as it's going to get with my current skill set and my current set of tools? With, the gear I have, with the skill set I have, is this as good as it gets? And where I've started, there's this analogy. It's actually been really helpful for me. So I'll pass it on to you, and you can let me know what you think. Think of an empty room, right? So when I start a song, when I start a podcast episode, empty room. And at first I'm moving furniture in, and it's making a big difference, right? There comes a point, though, where all I'm doing with my tweaking is now I'm just moving the same furniture around in different arrangements. I can endlessly, I mix my own songs, so I can endlessly, be driving around in the car and think, oh, the guitar's a little too loud. Go home, turn the guitar down. Listen to it again on a different set of headphones, going on a walk. I can't really hear the guitar, and I think the piano should be, it just goes on and on and on. It never ends. For a while, that process of like checking it, taking some time away, coming back with fresh ears, fresh eyes, fresh perspective. There's for a time that is super helpful, and I recommend it for just about anything you're gonna do. Taking some time away, coming back with just that fresh lens. You're gonna see things that you didn't see before. That's great. But there comes a time when all you're doing is moving the same furniture around, and one way is not any better than the other, and then you're just wasting time. So, is this as good as it can be with my current skill set and with my current set of tools? And for me, something I'm proud of is that I can look back at my 3 batches of songs, and no doubt each one has been better than the last. But I can say that at each given moment, that was the best I could do with my current skill set at that time and the tools I had to work with. What I'm even more proud about, though, what I'm even more proud of, I should say, what I'm even more proud of, I've tried to say this so many times. I don't know if I might just leave all this into this, because this is what happens in the main episode, is I just like say it wrong for like 3 times and then I edit it, but maybe we'll just leave it in so you can see. What I'm more proud of with the songs is the second point I wanted to make, the second filter I run this through, which is this as true as possible to me in this period? And something like songwriting, something like this project, it's a vulnerable thing, because I'm putting my view of the world, my perspective on my life, my experiences out into the world. And undoubtedly, lyrics I've written, things I'm saying right now into this microphone, someday I will look back and no longer agree with, or think I could have, I should have said that better, or if I only knew that, I would eventually come to see it this way. But if I'm being true in that moment, it serves as a snapshot for where I was in that moment. And, I see this already with songs I've written, where it's like, maybe I wouldn't see it exactly that way, or I would add this caveat to it, or I would twist it around and make it more like this. But I can look back and see, yeah, that actually does represent where I was in 2014 when I wrote it, 2017 when I wrote it. And that's what I'm trying to do with this show is like skill set and stuff. Like I know my goal is that I make, 300 episodes, and someday I look back on this episode 5 and see all the things I should have done differently technically. And that's video, that's audio, that's lighting, that's how I'm, structuring things, how I'm editing, all that. I want to be able to look back and be like, oh man, I've gotten so much better. But I can honestly say right now, this is the best I can do with my skill set, both as a communicator and as a technical editor, producer, all that. And I am being true to how I see the world right now. So that'll change. I'll hopefully get better, and I will also evolve and shift my views. But right now, I'm doing the best with what I can, best with what I have, and I am being as true as I can be to myself. Now that said, okay, why did I redo these couple episodes? I didn't do the best I could with the gear and the skill set. I just wasn't I did learn some, like, it's one of those things where, learning to see failure not as a total waste of time, right? Like, I kind of blew it, but there's a couple of things that I did technically, mostly on the video side, that I won't make that mistake again because it looked really dumb and I couldn't salvage it in post. And the second time was a totally different mistake than the first time. The second time I almost went ahead and tried to use it and it was just going to look a little weird. But then I also felt like this was a topic for this episode 5, that I had lots of thoughts on. I had, it really is a big idea in my life, something I think about all the time. And so each subsequent recording, I did have additional thoughts, and I felt like I structured it a little bit better every time. That said, like, there are things in all 4 episodes that are live as of now that I wish I would have done differently. I wish I would have made look differently. I wish I would have added this story, cut this, whatever. But I feel like it's at that point, it's basically just rearranging the furniture in the room. It's not making that big a difference. And right now, like what I need to be doing is making an episode every week because that's the best way for me to get better. Is just keep making stuff. So I hope something there helps. I hope that you can take that and use it how you will. Is this the best that I can currently do with my current skill set and my current set of tools? And does this accurately represent like how I see the world right now? And also, like, just keep in mind, like, the more that, like, when I think about, it works for podcasts and songs, but the more time I keep spending on just tweaking the same thing, this is where I started to make more music. Like in 2020, I cranked out a couple of those songs way faster than I'd ever written a song before, because I started to get to this place where I was like, oh, I can sit here and like tweak the mix on a song like to infinity, but that means I'm going to like release a song every 2 years, or I can speed up the whole process and just get it out into the world. And once I get to the point where I feel like I'm just rearranging the same furniture and I'm not really making that big a difference, why would I, make it 0.5% better, but it's going to hold up for the next 6 months? I'm just going to keep working on one song to make it 0.5% better. Or I can release 3 new songs in the next 6 months. So yeah, that's my thought on that. Episode 5, in the bag. In the bag? Is that the saying? In the bag? I think so. In the box? No. Where is it? It's done, is what I'm trying to say. It's done. We're wrapping it up. Yeah. I still haven't learned how to end an episode. So thanks for listening or watching or however you've been engaging. Would love for you to follow the show on Instagram at @MeInTheQuest. I was just talking about my music. You can search for my 2020 songs under the name Ben in the Family Quest. 4 songs under that name. And then my album, it's called A Map in Pieces, and it's by just under my regular name, Ben Crossweight. Probably easier to search A Map in Pieces than having to spell my name. That EP is harder to find right now. It's not on Spotify and iTunes. If you really want to hear it, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I can find it for you. But thanks so much for listening. Just getting started around here. Would love if you are enjoying the show, if you're getting value out of it. I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to share this with your friends, try to get the word out. And I'm in this for the long haul. It's, January, whatever. Biden just got inaugurated. Whatever today is, the 20th, I think. And I'm doing this like I got like 2 years of this in me. I'm committing. So, if you follow me like personally on Instagram or Facebook or something, and you're like tired of hearing about it, you should probably just unfollow me because the show is not going anywhere. Also, I would love for you to reach out if you are, kind of processing anything that you've heard in these first 5 episodes. I'd love to hear from you. And I may even use, if you're up for it, I may even use some of the questions or feedback, or if there's things you're stuck on that you'd like me to kind of help you sort through. I would even go so far as to, I think at some point I'd like to do some episodes, or at least an episode, where I sort of talk through some things that people have submitted to me. And I would do that anonymously. But I think it'd be helpful to take some things that you guys are actually processing with the show and just kind of provide my feedback to help you and then to help others through that too that maybe are kind of processing similar things. So, all right. So thanks again for listening, for being here. We'll see you next week for episode 6. Yeah.